Hey, hello. Well, nice. I like the thumbs up. Hello,
We're
everyone.
ready.
We're ready. We're going. So, starting a channel, this new YouTube channel. Hopefully, everybody enjoys this. And if you do, please pass it on to your friends. Send them a link. Thumbs up. Yeah, got to give thumbs
Like,
up.
subscribe, comment, share. If you don't know what to comment, put a robot because this is what I do on my channel. Put a robot because it helps shatter the algorithms. Chris,
Do you want to
kick
give
it
a
away.
plug? Since you already brought it up, you have another channel. Do you want to give a plug to that channel? You kind
Yes,
of did
everybody,
already.
anybody interested in life sciences, go to Dan Sfera. That's my name. Dan Sfera. I got a YouTube channel for clinical research, life science, biotech. We do all this stuff. Chris is on it a lot. This is our This is our other channel. I was gonna say fun, but that one's fun too. This is
Sure.
our other channel where we're not. It's not. Sometimes it will be life science, but really it's about everything. And I don't know, Chris. This was your idea, so why don't you introduce it?
Certainly. Certainly.
Because it's more clear in your head. I hope.
So what we're going to discuss, I can't guarantee it's more clear, but what we're going to discuss on this channel are conspiracy theories, right? And Dan and I oftentimes, so as Dan had mentioned, we're involved in clinical research. We'll be driving to some site and we'll have very lengthy conversations about this, about some conspiracy theory. And we both think it's very fascinating.
Yes.
We'll talk for an hour about this stuff, for 2 hours. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see if other people enjoy this conversation, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Okay, that's a good summary. When I was younger, in my 20s, I was really like heavy into conspiracy theories. The older I get, the less I am. Uh to the point where like in my 20s I used to try to explain everything with a conspiracy theory, and now it's like, I'm looking for anything other than a conspiracy. So, but it's still fun to me. It's intriguing. And one of the first books I read was called Rule by Secrecy, by this guy named Jim Mars, rest in peace. And he wrote a really compelling book, The Rule by Secrecy. It talks about the Illuminati
Mhm.
controlling the world, and there's probably a lot of truth to these conspiracies. This is why these are fun, because there's probably a lot of truth
Absolutely.
to these conspiracy theories. But at the end of the day, they are just theories. But a lot of theories have elements of truth in them, even if they're
Also,
proven to be false later. The actual theory, the
also,
elements are still be true.
so all science begins as a theory.
That's right. Hey, I like how you tied it into clinical research.
That's right. All science begins as a theory, and as more data is gathered, then it becomes substantial and factual, opposed to just a theory. So a lot of these things we're going to discuss. Hopefully this is a successful channel, and a lot of these things we'll discuss. They may just be theories right now, but and again, we're not Alex Jones necessarily, right? So, which he gets into a lot of these things too, but
That guy's hilarious.
everything he presents, it's as though it's fact, right? That's not what we're doing here, right? We're aware that this is not proven. We're just going to give our 2 cents on whether or not we believe it
And
could
Chris,
be
one of the
true.
reasons, I mean, not to give the reason for you, but one of the reasons I believe you wanted to create this channel is because you're actively looking for this kind of content on YouTube and you're not satisfied with what you found.
Oh yeah,
I'm guessing.
no offense to anybody who's creating this content, but most of them seem to be a little bit off the rocker.
Yeah, see, I'm not searching for this kind of stuff, so I have no idea who we're competing against. But you're saying there's nobody like sensible looking at this stuff.
Well, in a lot of people's minds, Alex Jones is off his rocker. I don't think that's the case, but I think he's presenting things that certainly. So you take any conspiracy theory, some of
Yeah,
which he knows is true, right?
right.
He just exaggerates it, right? To the
Of
point
course.
where there's no way this is true, right?
To the point where all the hyperbole just makes even the elements of truth that he may have had implausible
Yeah,
to the average Joe.
that's right.
Uh, yeah. So okay, I get you. And Alex Jones, I mean, I believe very little of what he says in the short run, but in the macro, if you actually look at what he said, I mean, I started watching him with the Patriot Act. When the Patriot Act came after 9/11, everybody knows now we got our freedoms taken away. We never got those back.
No,
Never. right? And that was George Bush that was the president.
And
Alex
everybody
Jones bashed him at the
resigned,
time.
resigned continuing the Patriot Act, including Trump. All of
Yeah,
them.
and Alex Jones bashed Bush at the time, and uh, yeah, I'm not defending Alex Jones, but I'm saying in the macro, like the elements of what he's saying turn out to be relatively true. I mean, look, Patriot Act allowed telephone companies and the NSA to just listen in on whatever we want. I mean, look at Eric Snowden. So yeah, this is a good idea for a channel, Chris, provided that you did the homework and figured that nobody's doing content to your liking.
Well, people are doing this, but as you're saying, to my liking, no.
Okay, so that's why we're doing it then.
I mean, you have a lot of people doing conspiracy theories at a lesser level, right? Like, I think we both watch a little bit of Tim Pool, right?
Yeah.
He does some conspiracy theory, but
He's more current events. He throws in the conspiracies to put spice on his content.
All right, so maybe we
conspiracy is like a spice. You're gonna make it your dinner. It has to be like interesting. So you sprinkle on some spices. You don't need it, and that's what he's doing too. The way I see it.
Absolutely. And I suppose where we could go with this is our first topic. So what we're doing today is we're looking to do the Matrix, right? Matrix, simulation theory. They're both pretty much the same. Yeah, I like Dan's background there. So Matrix and the simulation theory are one and the same. So if you've seen Elon Musk discuss simulation theory, or you've seen the movie The Matrix, they're pretty much synonymous. They mean the same thing, right? Disagree with any of that?
No. I think it's for simplicity's sake. I mean, you can argue details like, are we plugged into like test tubes?
Right.
Probably not. But yes, the macro, I agree.
Okay. And mind everybody, future viewers, this is what we're going to do. We're going to debate on whether parts of this are true or not. Right?
Yes, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out. Just hit that button.
That's
Just
right.
Do it. Just do it right now.
And Dan and I both think of ourselves as relatively normal, not entirely, but not off our rocker, right?
We should ask our wives what they think.
Yeah, they might disagree.
Oh, that's right. And we don't have a name for our channel yet, guys. So I don't know. Give us a name. I don't know if we can even change it. Right now, it's the Chris and Dan Show.
Yeah, give us a name. So, well, actually, that'd be kind of hard. Once we upload it, we already have a name. So
yeah, but you can always put the name in front of the title of every video, so it won't matter.
So we're discussing the Matrix today. Glad we got that solved.
Yes,
we're discussing the Matrix today. So, in case anybody has not heard of simulation theory or the Matrix, right?
If you haven't heard of the Matrix, just don't go watch another channel. We're not gonna explain what the Matrix
maybe they're interested. Maybe they're interested.
If you haven't seen the Matrix, go watch the Matrix, not us. What the hell are you doing watching us? Go watch the Matrix.
So should we play a clip of a video to give them an idea, or should we just?
Yeah, well, you have it prepared. Yeah, I think we should do that.
All right, so maybe we'll watch the simulation theory.
That's right. That's right.
All right. And you want to make some commentary as we go on this?
It's a great way to get subscribers, telling them to not watch.
Not watch. Go watch something else.
Yeah, go watch something else. Excellent way to grow your YouTube channel.
All right. So we're going to share the screen here. And let's bring up Elon Musk. You can see Elon there, right?
That's right.
All right. So here we go.
There's a sort of a philosophic concept that a sufficiently advanced civilization will be able to create a simulation. Yeah, maybe you've answered this before. A simulation.
I've had so many simulation discussions. It's crazy.
Okay. So, because
in fact, it got to the point where basically every conversation was the AI/simulation conversation. And my brother and I finally agreed that we would ban such conversations if we were ever in a hot tub. That was like.
That's rather odd.
So Elon's had so much conversation about simulation theory. He believes so strongly in this
that he only doesn't want to discuss it in a hot tub.
Yeah, that's how much he talks about this.
Which is rather odd thing to say.
Yeah, yeah, kind of odd. I would agree.
So the idea is right. Any sufficiently advanced civilization could create a simulation that's like our existence, and so the theory follows that maybe we're in the simulation. Have you thought about this? And
a lot.
Are we?
Even in hot tubs? No. So much so it has to be banned from a hot tub.
So I don't know how much of this you want to play, but I've seen this. But I get it. The viewers haven't. I have a good. What he just said. I have, and this is. I want to put this in context. It's 2021 for those watching in the future. So maybe in like 3 years we discover we are in a simulation. But this video, I think this interview was like in 2012. So this was like almost 10 years ago, this video. And everything Elon Musk has said is closer to happening now. Whereas back then when he was saying it was just a theory. Your kids, I don't have kids. Chris, you have kids. They're already living in a simulation. They're playing Roblox. I guarantee you they're playing Roblox every day. That is a simulation. That's a virtual world. So as technology gets better for them, let's say our great-grandkids, they're going to be playing Roblox, but it's going to be like 1,000 times more sophisticated. They're not even going to care what the real world is. I guarantee you that. So what Elon Musk said is there's no conspiracy about it. This is how technology is going to evolve.
Absolutely. And he delves into that a little bit. I don't know if I will play this whole segment, but he says if you just envision that computer technology improves by 1% a year, or I think he even says 1/10 of 1% a year, right? Within 1,000 years, you won't be able to distinguish between reality and a game.
Right. And your kids are already playing on things like Roblox. And I'm going to sound like a old millennial right now, but like they're in a virtual world meeting with people. They're spending real money. Chris, they're spending real money on virtual things.
Oh, absolutely.
Virtual clothes. So how is that not already a simulation?
Because you can distinguish between reality at this point. You can distinguish between reality and a simulation, right? You take off the headphones.
You can. Your kids.
Yes, they can too.
I know they can, but they think it's way more important than you do.
Oh, of course.
To them, it's more real.
Oh, of course. Our wife, my wife and I, we argue with our daughter constantly. I need to borrow $20. I need $20 to buy these avatars.
A skin, yeah.
Right. It's like, no. And then she says, well, I'll do chores. What can I do to get the $20? But
why? Kids are human. Kids are little adults. Like, they want to impress their peers.
Yep.
Adults do it right now, not in the virtual world so much. That'll change. They do it with cars, phones. You know, kids do it with skins and avatars.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So there's no disagreement that at some point in time, it's definitely possible. It won't be distinguishable between reality and a game, right?
Right.
Once you're completely plugged into the game, right? Which Elon, I believe, discusses here in a moment about you're wearing something that gives you the sensation that you're within the game, right? And I'm sure we're not too far from that.
We're not.
So neither of us disagree with that possibility.
No, I can give you plenty more examples. I mean, I've done VR over there in Irvine, California. They have like a VR arcade. And dude, you're put the thing on, you realize that you're in a game, but you put it on within 5 minutes, your mind doesn't care. Like blood pressure goes up, heart rate goes up. You get scared. Yeah, you get scared. Things come, you duck.
Right.
And it's only 2021. What do you think's gonna be in 21?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's too far off when it's going to be very difficult to tell the difference.
Yep.
But that does not mean we're in a simulation theory.
No.
Elon would argue otherwise, right?
That doesn't prove it.
Let's play a little more.
What that proves, what all that this proves is that technology is going to be good enough to make it indistinguishable.
Correct.
That doesn't mean we are, but the conspiracy theorists take this and say, well, if this is possible for us, why couldn't it have been possible in the past for another group to have done this to us? And we're just living in their game.
Right. We're avatars in their game.
Right.
Which, okay, well, let's play a little bit more, and we'll come back to that.
Again, your kids are already avatars.
Of course. So,
in a game. They are avatars in a game right now.
Maybe we don't need to play anymore. So what I would ask is there a difference between religion and what Elon Musk is proposing in terms of simulation theory? Is there a difference?
I don't know. I mean, then you have to start defining religion.
Right. So let's just, for the sake of argument, choose Christianity. Okay. Because I think we're both most familiar with. So when you die, you're going to someplace else, right?
Right.
As a Christian.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're a good Christian, you're going to heaven. If not, you're going to hell. Right?
Right.
Okay. So in the simulation theory, when you die, I would assume, right, and I'm sure Elon's thought this out, I've never seen him discuss this, but when you die in the simulation theory, because he fully believes this is reality.
Yeah, I know he does.
Fully believes. He says that it's, I think, 1 in a billion otherwise.
Well, I believe it more and more every year, too.
Sure. Just because of what occurs out in the real world. But
yeah.
No pun intended. But so in his simulation theory, when you die, and I'm sure, like I said, he's put some thought into this. Is it an atheist simulation theory? Do you just cease to exist?
I think it's irrelevant because the creator of the simulation maybe uses religion as a tool, just like civilizations have for all of humanity, to control people. Or maybe there's a parallel simulation where they don't have religion; they have something else. So, what's religion at the end of the day but just the story that we tell ourselves that is supposed to keep us to behave a certain way? I mean, that's the way I see religion. I'm not an atheist. I do believe in God, but that's the way I see religion. I'm not religious, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not religious, but I'm not an atheist.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
So
it's irrelevant.
So what's the purpose of a simulation theory? Is it just a game?
We can't comprehend the purpose, Chris. That's the thing. The intelligence has a purpose. We can't comprehend it. What does an ant think about us going to work? They don't know what the hell we're doing. They just see us like walking over them and they get out of the way. They don't know we're going to do clinical trials or we're, they can't comprehend that.
I don't think that's a fair comparison. So what you're saying is they don't possess the intellect. So I don't think that's necessarily a fair comparison because
compared to us, they don't have the intellect. And just like we may not have the intellect compared to whoever created the simulation.
See, I don't necessarily think it's dependent upon intellect to create. Of course, an ant's never going to create a simulation theory, right? But as we've discussed, at some point in time, which we both agree, we'll be able to create a PC powerful enough to create a game that's indistinguishable between reality and the game environment. Right. So I don't think it has anything to do with intellect. I think over time. Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I just did it so people can see us better.
Okay. So over time, I think it's just a matter of evolving, progressing, right? It's not a matter of intellect. Again, not in my opinion.
Sure.
So,
but we can run our own simulation inside another simulation too.
Sure. So like Elon said, what is it? Base reality or base simulation?
Right. Like the origin is Genesis.
Right.
And they threw that into our simulation as religion.
Right. So I think Elon says there could be 1,000, there could be 1,000,000 simulations, right? Each progressive society that's been created creates their own simulation.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a hard time buying that.
I know, but you haven't said why yet, because the the ant example is actually good, because yes, the ants still have intellect. They're just not compared to us. The ants have a lot of intellect compared to other insects. Compared to humans, they don't. They don't.
Right.
They pale in comparison. And all I'm saying is that if this is true, our intellect pales in comparison to whoever created this thing. And who are we to debate what's their purpose? We can't even begin to think about what their purpose is. There's no way we can grasp it.
So in the movie The Matrix, you're actually plugged into a computer. So what Elon Musk is proposing is you're part of a software program, right?
Right.
In The Matrix, you're actually plugged into the computer. You're a physical being plugged into the computer.
Right. Right.
And you're plugged in such a way that your mind still functions, and the computer allows you to function within it, right? Within the software, but you're also an actual human, an actual person.
Right. And
Whereas, go ahead.
yeah, no, exactly right. If you look at some like Hinduism, right? I read this guy's book, Sadhguru. I'll get the name of the book, but he's like a yogi from India. He was former business person turned yogi, and he's an interesting guy. Maybe we'll get him on the show one day. Hey, come on, Sadhguru, get on the show. He's awesome, though. I think I sent you some of his videos. But basically, like in the yogi, and I'm not an expert by it, but I get like the basics. The yogis say that humanity is all connected. Like actually, all of life is connected. Like there is no you and me. Like there is no individual. We just have those constructs, but it's all one, like entity, all of life. And so we're supposed to respect each other. We're supposed to respect even the smallest bugs, like going back to ants. So we shouldn't stomp on them because that's part of life. Unless you need to, like for survival or something, but otherwise it's all connected. And if you think about that, it's lines up, and these guys came up with this thousands of years ago. It lines up consistently with what Elon's theory and a bunch of other people's theory about if we are just bits in a software, aren't we all connected? We are all connected.
So, and again, we're not getting into politics here, but I suppose if you really believe in simulation theory, right, that would make sense on there's no need for liberty or freedom, right? Because we're all part of the same process.
Right, but that wouldn't necessarily stop people within the simulation from trying for those things, because maybe the architect wanted to see what we create. Maybe they're running like scenarios, millions of them, and saying, okay, this simulation, they use democracy, and this is what happened.
Sure.
This simulation used, this is what happened to the world. Maybe they're running all these things like in parallel.
And I would agree with that. Again, I don't necessarily believe in simulation theory, but if you're going to have a simulation, right, that would be the purpose in my mind, right? That would be the purpose, to see what happens given this situation. Right?
And maybe we're like, or maybe you are one of the smarter ants. Like maybe one of the ants that we walk over every morning to get in our car is like, maybe they're going to provide for their family.
Mm-hmm.
That's like us trying to guess, the smartest ones trying to guess what the creators of the simulation, they would never be able to go, hey, this guy's going to talk to a PI today about partnering on a site. I mean, that's just like another planet, but maybe they're able to conceptualize like basics, like frameworks.
And if you want to understand what Dan the analogy he just provided, you have to go watch his channel.
Yeah, go watch Dan's Fair. Yes. Thank you.
But again, is simulation theory, is it plausible? Certainly, right? I don't think you can deny it's a possibility. Do I believe that that's what's occurring? No. And
That's fair enough.
I can't provide rationale on why, right?
Exactly. You can't.
Because everything feels real, right?
Right.
Everything seems real. I can smell, I can see, I can touch, I can feel, I can taste. But that could be all programming potentially,
Exactly.
right? Like it is in the Matrix, right?
Exactly.
This goop tastes like steak, right?
Yeah.
That they're putting in their veins, like you have in that image there right now.
Yeah, they're perfect timing.
Yeah.
So it just goes like it's all boils down to philosophy again. Like all of this comes back to philosophy. What is living? Is it experience enough? Because for me, it's enough. Like you can tell me right now, without a doubt, I'm in a simulation, and I don't change what I do.
See, I would.
I know you would because we've had this debate.
Yeah, I would.
And that's why it goes back to philosophy.
Because if I know I'm in a computer program, then and nothing's truly real, right? There's no. I guess it comes down to religion for me because if I know nothing in this has a soul, right? Nothing truly has feelings, right? It's just programming. I would become the biggest asshole that ever lived.
I don't think so. I don't think you would.
Well, I know I would. I know because I'm very. I mean,
No.
to my own horn. I have morals. I have values. I try to do things according to.
Yes, you are very much so, and you're very rational, much more than I am.
But
I guarantee you would not go that route. I guarantee you.
I think I wouldn't. Cheating would not become a thing for me. There would be no.
You know why? There's incentives built into the system, to the simulation, that would cause you real suffering, even if it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
If I punch you in the face repeatedly,
still hurts.
It's still gonna hurt.
Programming says this hurts, so it hurts.
If you starve because you can't feed your family, that's still gonna hurt. You're not gonna change very much.
So, is it suicide if you kill yourself?
That's a whole nother topic. I don't know. I can't go that deep.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that would be the out, right? I don't like how this game's playing out. I just kill myself.
So that would have consequences because your family would suffer for real.
Yeah, kill them too. None of it's real.
Okay, but then you just basically wiped out whatever reality you did have, and maybe there's nothing else for you ever again.
So this may be an explanation for some bizarre people who do kill their families, right? Maybe they found that they do live in a simulation theory somehow.
Well, they say that the more research that's being done on mental illness, the more they are starting to see that like for example, psychedelics. Mm-hmm. They're using psychedelics now for therapy. And like they're doing it in studies. Well, just 20 years ago, that was considered altering your mind and not good. But research is pointing towards the more the mind is altered in certain situations, the better it actually is in controlled situations.
Yeah.
But not just for mentally ill, like for people who maybe have occasional depression or occasional anxiety.
Or PTSD. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that tells you something there too. All I'm saying is I don't think if you told me we're in a simulation today, like if God, and I believed it was God, said you're in a simulation, I don't change what I'm doing because I actually like what I'm doing, and there's a rewards built into what we're doing. So what's the purpose of not doing it if you're going to suffer?
Okay, fair point.
Isn't the purpose of life to do as best you can to be happy and to live as big as you can?
So this is where I'm confounded by atheism, right? My belief system's based primarily on a religious belief, right?
Right.
But if you're an atheist, it's almost like living in a simulation theory in my
mind. I don't know.
There's nothing after this. There's nothing after this, right? So
I don't think atheists could believe in a simulation because the definition of a simulation.
I don't mean in that regard. What I'm saying though, in a simulation theory, if you die in the simulation, there's nothing after it, right? Unless they rewrite your software.
Right.
And as an atheist, there's nothing after death as well.
Right.
So you're playing 100% for now.
Yeah, but let's go back to the yogis where they say we are all life, all the same. Like you die, that's just like a one billionth of the organism. You're gonna come back, and
Yeah, they
you're
believe
still
in
part of the
reincarnation.
organism.
Sure. And that's
That's not
possible.
atheist. That's a religion.
Sure, they believe in reincarnation. They believe that your energy either comes back as a human or something else.
Yeah, well, they believe all life is the same. It's one.
Right. Well, that's Hinduism? Because I thought they believe you come back as a higher creature if you were good in the previous life.
I don't know those details, but I know the concept of like they believe everything's connected.
Right.
We are all one. Like
Right.
I should be happy for when a stranger is experiencing happiness, and I should be sad when a stranger is experiencing sadness.
Hmm.
If I'm aware of that, because it's me also. That's the concept.
Okay, so let's jump to the next part here.
Oh, we got more? Man, this is either gonna go very well for viewers or very bad.
More than we have. So, is simulation exclusionary to religion? Right? I kind of think we touched on this a little bit.
No, I don't think so.
Right. So, why? Right?
I believe religion is man-made. That's why. So,
But you believe in a God.
yeah.
So let me reframe. Let me reframe the question. Do you believe that simulation theory is exclusionary to a God? Not religion. God.
No.
Okay. Why
There
not?
has to be a creator of the simulation.
But
It
can
doesn't
that
just
be
create
human?
itself.
Could it be a human? So that human's now God?
It's unlikely a human. In my opinion, it's not a human.
So
It's a being. It's a all-powerful being. If we go with the yogi philosophy or the Hindu philosophy, um, it's a collection of everyone that's ever been and ever will be.
so in the Matrix, it's a supercomputer, right?
Right.
Hugely, vastly powerful computer,
Right.
right? Network of computers.
Right.
So that in your mind is the God for their simulation.
Well, in the Matrix 3, they revealed the architect. That's the God. But then they saw that there's like a lot of him.
Right. Which essentially is still part of the computer program, I believe, right? It's kind of clear in the Matrix, if I remember the ending correctly. It's been a while since I've seen it.
They never resolved it properly, is the
Right.
thing, because it's hard to do.
So,
but no, I don't think God is exclusionary to the simulation.
Well, what you're saying though is the creator of the simulation, and if it is a humanoid of some sort, right?
It doesn't matter even what it is.
That would be the God.
It doesn't matter if it's a humanoid or a mixture of every kind of being that's ever existed.
Oh, okay. Let me approach it at this angle.
What if it's consciousness? All consciousness from the past, they've proven that we are mostly vibrations, electromagnetic vibrations, our bodies. Did you know that cells rarely touch one another? There's always space in between.
Mhm.
Always. So everything at the end of the day is energy at its simplest form. Right? So what if there's energy cannot be created nor destroyed?
Right.
It can only be, and that's proven.
That's proven in physics, yes.
That's proven. So what if all the energy ever created leads to God, and that is what's making the destiny for everybody? I mean, that's the way I see it. I don't see it as computers and things like that.
But, and I understand, and I tend to agree for the most part with that aspect. But getting back to what I was saying, so because I think you consider yourself a Christian, I think, right?
Yeah, by birth,
by default,
by culture, yeah,
or by your parents. So to believe in the simulation theory, and I think what you're saying is you believe the creator of the simulation would be the God, right?
Our God.
Right. So if we're living in 10 levels deep of simulations, right, one on top of another,
it is at least our God.
So whoever the ninth layer there, whoever created that within that simulation is the God of our simulation.
Right.
Who's
Right.
dictating the rules, right?
Right. But I don't know if that's actually what's happening. But yes, because we can't even go one level deep. Why go 10 or if infinity? You
So
can't.
in that scenario, though, there is no Christian God or any other true all-powerful being. It's just part of the simulation, right? Depending on the level. Until you get to the base level, as Elon puts it, then you have that creator who's probably the ultimate God, right?
Well, yes. My base level, my idea of base level, and this is again like an ant trying to comprehend space travel,
Mhm.
right? It's even worse than that. Like it's like probably 100 levels
Sure, it's
more
very,
complex than that.
I understand, very deep.
But me being an ant trying to comprehend space travel, I think that energy from all of the past, maybe even from the future, controls the simulation or whatever you call it. I think simulation is maybe not a good word for it, but I agree with that theory that we are in some kind of program.
Matrix. We're in the
I mean,
Matrix.
we're in a matrix. Yeah, we're in some kind of a matrix.
So those two, I think it was the Wachowski brothers that wrote the Matrix.
Yeah,
What do you think
yeah.
came? What do you think came first, that or simulation theory? Elon's belief. He was probably pretty young when that came out, the Matrix, right?
No, Elon's 10 years older than me. I turned 40. Elon's 50.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay, so he was probably like 25,
yeah.
30.
Because I was 18 when that came out. When the Matrix, no, when Matrix 1 came out, I was like 15.
Okay, so
So
he
he
was
was
like
25.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
But Elon's a big science fiction reader also.
sure. So he could have kind of come up with the concept from the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything like that we think of, you or me or anyone for that matter, is like an original thought, really. I think it's a construct of different things that we've picked up over time, and maybe we put our own spin on it based on our experiences and what we've learned. I don't think people just come up with ideas out of thin air.
Okay, so
Everything's like progressively built on top of the next thing.
all right, let's put the icing on this discussion,
All
right?
right, this is good. This is going better than I thought, man. I don't know. Even if no one else watches, it helps me clear my thoughts.
Sure, and it's kind of interesting and fun for us, right?
Yeah.
So what you're telling me, if I understand correctly, is you you think there could
I
be
love how I became the guest and you're the interviewer when this is your idea. But all right, go ahead.
well, you talk more than I do, so
All
I'm
right,
giving you the floor.
fair enough, fair enough.
So, what you're saying, to summarize, is there could be a Christian God or a Muslim God or whatever kind of God, right? There could be, right? There could be Allah, there could be God, Jesus.
Hmm.
There could be that and the simulation theory, potentially. Or maybe there is none of that and there's just a humanoid who's essentially God in our eyes because they created all of this. Is that what you're saying?
Jeez, that's what I'm saying. That's a way to like say 100 things and then ask me if that's what I think.
Let's summarize your belief.
You sound like mainstream media trying to get me to quote something that I'm not responsible for. No,
Well,
that's not what I'm saying.
okay.
That's the correct answer to those questions. No. What I'm saying is, well, number one, I don't know. Number two, what I believe is that all of those religious gods are stories saying the same thing. Different cultures took different stories, but they all have similarities. All of them do.
Very similar.
And there's one master creator somewhere that maybe didn't even come up with the concept of religion. Maybe he let us choose how us being society choose, or civilization choose what we want to do, and a few people that got power decided religion's a good tool, and then they came up with it.
Within
And
the
this
simulation.
person just watching everything.
Sure. So again, that is what you're saying. You're saying a humanoid could be a god.
I don't know if it's humanoid. I doubt it's humanoid.
So what else would it be?
Energy. All the energy ever in one.
But it has an intellect of some sort, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But couldn't that be how you would describe, again, getting back to religion, from a Christian viewpoint, couldn't that be how you would describe God?
Yeah, that's how you would describe God. Yeah. Yeah.
Vastly powerful, all-knowing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is, yeah, I don't believe in simulation, and I'll talk for a moment here. I don't believe in simulation because I believe in God. I think they are exclusionary, personally.
Yeah.
Okay. Because God says specifically, if you believe in the Bible, right, which most religions do, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they all believe in
at least the Old Testament. Yeah.
So, and in the Old Testament, it says that basically God is jealous. He wants no other gods before him.
Right. Right.
So for that reason alone, I would say they're exclusionary. God would not, the God of those three religions would not create a simulation theory. Otherwise, he's putting an idol, a other God, before you.
But what if that's all just a story?
And I understand that's what you're saying. So there is no God.
So I guess that's the fundamental difference between why you don't believe it and why I kind of do.
I'm not saying it's not a possibility, though.
Right. No, I know what you're saying.
But I'm telling you, if God does exist, I would say 85, 90% certain he does. There is no simulation theory.
I see.
But if simulation theory does exist, there is no God. Other than a humanoid of some sort.
Yeah, see, I guess that's the fundamental difference between your thoughts and mine on this topic. I do think they coexist. I don't think it's exclusionary.
Yeah.
To have the God of the Bible be part of our simulation.
Well, no, it could. Yeah, I agree with that. If there is a simulation, it could have been created at some point. Christianity,
right,
whatever religion created within the simulation.
So I guess the real bottom line is you believe the Bible is the actual word of God, period. Right. And I believe the Bible is people's interpretation of the word of a God that they created.
Right.
Yeah.
And base
That's reality. A great show, guys. Have a good night.
Well, I would say I put the...
There's nothing else you can say after that.
Sure. I put the probability at like 2%. There's a simulation. You probably put it more like at 70, 80 would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, in the way I'm describing it, probably higher when you throw in energy as like actually running everything.
Yeah.
I would say it's, pretty close to 99.
Right there with Elon.
99, but that doesn't mean that people who believe in the God of the Bible are wrong, right? Or people who believe in Islam. Whatever helps you get through this existence is fine. And maybe that's also part of the simulation. I'm not one to ever criticize like anybody, even atheists. They can believe whatever they want.
No, this is very true, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, who am I? None of us know anything.
Well, that I disagree with. We do know some things.
We are ants. We are ants. Okay, the ants looking at us going to work, would it be like us maybe 1,000 years from now? Humans 1,000. We're more. The analogy is probably better. The ants knowing what aliens know compared to what we know about truth.
Well, it depends. I mean, aliens could be rather dumb. They could be
sure they can be. Advanced
what aliens you're talking about.
Advanced alien, much more advanced than us. That's the example I'm using.
All right. So, are you happy with an ending here?
Good night, folks.
No, not good night. But are you happy with this topic ending here?
Yes, because you can't go further. Because religion is deeply ingrained in people's belief systems, and it's not a bad thing or a good thing, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's just how it is.
Certainly. So, for those viewing, and hopefully there's a few, right, at some point.
Yeah.
If you like it, again, thumbs up. Please subscribe. We plan on doing one of these every week, and if it's really popular, we'll do more. And as Dan said, please comment or leave an emoji, do something in the comment section.
Robot.
Also, please give some, because we'll look at all the comments. Please give some ideas on future conspiracy theory.
All one of you comments. We will see them all.
Yeah, I'm hoping for 10 comments. Right?
Wow. I'm hoping for one.
10 comments. Give us suggestions what you'd like to hear us talk about in terms of conspiracy, because we're going to run out of stuff eventually, right?
No, we can do like 100 parts of this topic alone.
Oh, certainly. You could really, I mean, we could do this for 100 hours probably.
Yeah.
100 episodes an hour each.
Yeah.
But there's other things I want to talk about.
Sure. You're quarterbacking this. I told you, Chris.
I understand.
You're quarterbacking this. I got enough podcasts to run or YouTubes. You're quarterbacking this.
All right.
What you say, go. I don't even. Well, I do want to know the topic a little beforehand because I want to get a background, like
sure. So
thematic background.
So hopefully everybody sees us here soon, and you'll see.
And most importantly, let us know what you think about all this. All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd love to read those comments. Who do you agree with? Even more importantly, who do you agree with, Dan or Chris?
Yeah, Team Dan or Team Chris.
Right?
Team Dan or Team Chris. I'm the red pill. You're the blue pill.
Oh, wow. Look at them shirts.
Yeah, we didn't plan this.
No, that was no plan. Interesting.
See,
how that worked
that's
out.
the simulation. Go figure.
That's coincidence.
Go figure.
Coincidence.
Coincidence. We all believe in it.
Some say there is no such thing as coincidence. So, whatever.
Sometimes.
All right. You want to wrap it up?
That's it, guys. Good night. We ended it on religion.
All right. We'll see you in a week.
Later, guys.